Good evening. The birds are singing and the flowers are blooming, and it's time to plant the apple seedlings. This is part of my whole apple breeding series. There's a bunch of videos and a bunch more to come, and there's a full playlist of those if you want to catch up on what I've done so far. This is what I did so far. I chose parents. I took the flowers and did things to them and did dirty things to them and made them, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. And they grew seeds, and I harvested the seeds. I kept them in the fridge for a while, and then I planted them in the greenhouse, and now they're nice healthy little starts and they're ready to go in the ground. So what I will do now is plant them in the ground. That's today. Take care of them through this season, and then when they're dormant next winter, I'll cut them off and graft them onto dwarfing rootstocks, and then plant those out in permanent rows until they fruit, and we can see what we come up with. And each one, of course, will be a unique variety, different from any other apple that exists. Just like if you make a baby with someone, it's a unique person. The thing with apples, though, is that we can clone them. So you can't clone a baby and just keep, well, maybe you can now, I don't know. Let's hope not. But an apple you can clone, so I can make literally just millions and billions of trees of anything that turns out good. So let's get busy. Look how healthy and nice these things look. And what'll happen is they'll grow in here up to a certain point where they start to use up all the nutrients, and then they'll slow down. And that hasn't happened yet. So they're still nice and vigorous. They're still growing rapidly. Real strong red color in some of these seedlings. Now, all the seedlings that show strong red color are from Maypole, which is the most red fleshed trait apple that I've ever used. Okay, so this is how I do this. I like to keep some soil on the roots if possible, so I'll use a butter knife to kind of cut around the individual tree and then try to lift it out with some soil embedded in. You can plant these at least up to the seed leaves, which are the first two little oval-shaped leaf-looking things that come out. And even a little past that's okay, they'll just grow roots and they should be fine. So yeah, I just cut them out. And then take maybe a trowel and just try to lift it out with most of the soil on it, and then set it in here. I'm planting these real close together. I'm shooting for about 4 to 5 inches apart, which is pretty damn close. My main thing this year is not to grow them as fast as possible, but just to get this job done and pull it off at all with 125 trees here. That's it's a bit of a challenge to get them all in. I'm hoping to get them all into just 2 beds here, so I want them nice and close together. So each variety that I plant, I'll put in a tag and then come back, and every single tree will get its own tag with a unique identifying code on it, which will tell me what the cross is and what the year is and what number that individual tree is, and that'll allow me to keep track of everything through the entire process of growing these things out. I'll have a sheet where I can make notes of when it bloomed, like what diseases it seems susceptible to, how soon it bloomed, obviously the fruit quality, growth characteristics, red pigment, you name it, all that stuff. So this one here is Wixon and Sweet 16, which seems like a real interesting cross to make. And I made a lot of them, and they grew a lot of seeds. They just seemed to get along really well, and they made a lot of seeds. And I made more of these crosses this year, and I'm planning to put some seeds in my little online store. So if anyone wants to play apple breeding with me, you can buy these seeds and grow them out, and they'll be specific crosses. Oops. So I think I planted about half of these today, and I'll probably get the other half planted in the next day or two. Got some shade cloth here to keep the sun off while they reestablish themselves, grow new roots, and start growing again. So after that, it's just a matter of food and water through the season to keep them growing until the fall. Obviously, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. This is just the way I've been doing it because I can pull this off. Basically, it's easy to do. But a lot of breeding programs and stuff will grow the plants in pots and push them like super hard with, you know, regular fertilizer and water. Sometimes expose them to diseases right away to just weed out the ones that don't make it through whatever disease they're exposing it to. And yeah, you know, lots of ways to do it. This is just how I do it. So let's go take a quick look at the trial rows because I have fruit this year. I had a dozen trees blossom. Check out all these poppies, lots of poppies. They've been spreading in this orchard because I, you know, mow down here. And they're perennials, so that helps them grow more. Well, here's some fruit right here. So this is the original Wixon cross we looked at. And the tree right next to it, right here, also has some fruit. There's some more. So some here, here. So it's a big old mess in here. There's some right there. But, you know, it'll become more obvious when the fruit starts to grow big. And I had a dozen varieties bloom. So hopefully all of them set a little bit of fruit. We'll see. Stay tuned for a few months and we'll start tasting these new varieties. Isn't that exciting? Tell me that isn't exciting. That's pretty damn exciting.